weiqi. Today I'm going to be making a video about how to play the game that you might know as baduk, weiqi, or Go. Baduk is the Korean name for it, weiqi is the Chinese name for it, and Go is the Japanese name for it. I think weiqi is the original name of it because the game is actually originated in China. Something like 2,000 years ago. They're not really sure exactly, but it's a really long time ago, right? So a lot of people want to call it weiqi because that's its traditional name of the country it came from, but a lot of people do know it as Go because of an anime called Hikaru no Go. You might have probably heard about it, I'm guessing, if you're watching this video. But I just prefer to call it Go because it's more simple to me. So first off here, I'm on the KGS Go server, which is www.gokgs.com. So www.gokgs.com. Pretty simple. And I'll show you over here. You just go, oh, that's something weird. You go over here on your web browser and you can just go to this website. It's a good Go server. It's not the biggest Go server, but they have quite a few players. Something like, I'll check how many they're on right now, but there's usually a lot of people on. Server stats, there's right now, I actually don't know how to check. I don't know, but there's a lot of people right now. There's at least 1,000 some accounts online. Yes, so, and there's like hundreds of games being played. So obviously there's a lot of people. You go to the server and you can click play Go now, allow your Java, and you can right here you just make a guest account and play. But anyway, that's not what we're doing today. Today we're going to talk about the rules of Go. Go is played by one player is black and one player is white. Not race, of course, but pieces. And Go is played on a traditional 19 by 9 Go board. As you can see, there's 19 by 19. And you have time limit, right? Like there's different ways to calculate the time. Like, Canadian time is you have like 5 minutes to do so many moves, but mostly what people play by is the Japanese rules, which is what I have right here. So black would have 30 minutes for all of his moves, and white would have 30 minutes for all his moves. But if you go over that, you have 30 seconds for every move 5 times. So that means you can go over 30 seconds for 4 moves. If you go over it 5 times afterwards, you're done. But anyway, none of this really matters right now. Let me get back to the main point here. So Go is a game between two players, right? One is black, one's going to be using white pieces. The black player goes first. So obviously, going first is going to have an advantage in a game, right? You get to make the first move, that kind of thing. So before I even tell you the rules of the game, you just want to know that black has that advantage, and so white is going to be getting something that's called komi, which is 6.5 points at the end of the game. Now, how do you make points and how do you do all that stuff? I'll get into that right now. So there's all these little intersections. You can see when I'm going over them, it's highlighting my stone. It's showing where it would be if I played it, right? Like I can play it here, for instance. I'm not in a real game right now, so obviously none of the clocks are going or anything like that. But you can play here. So you're not playing, you're not going to be playing in between the intersections. The stones are actually played on the intersections. So when you play Go, you're playing on these intersections. And when you play a stone, it can get captured by the white player, but to be captured it has to be fully surrounded. And each stone that each player plays has 4 liberties, okay? If it's in the open like this stone, it has 4 liberties. On each side of it, until it is completely surrounded, this stone is, not captured. So if white wanted to capture this stone, he would have to have pieces all around it. You can see once I place a stone here, the server will automatically recognize that that stone was captured, and it would go into white's prisoners if it was a real game. So if we look at this, if white plays here and captures it, white has a prisoner. That means he has captured that black stone. It is gone, taken off the board, and it would be placed in a bowl if we were playing with the real board. And that counts as 1 white point at the end of the game. Now you're thinking this game would be incredibly dull if you went by and you just thought about capturing the entire time, right? Or how do you not get captured? Let's think of it like this. So hold on, let me set up a position. If we look at it like this, these black stones, if I put two of them together, they are considered connected. This means this black stone at A, let me look at these, F8, F7. This black stone at A does not just have, these three liberties and this fourth one being used. It doesn't go like that. The A stone is actually considered connected with the B stone. And what this means is that their liberties are counted together, so that they have 6 liberties. This means if white wanted to capture black, he would have to have stones in all 6 liberties to capture them. And then they would be captured together, and that would be 2 white points. But you notice if you play diagonally, so if we play these 2 black stones, these black stones are not connected. Diagonals are not connected. This means that the A stone does indeed only have 4 liberties, these 4. These stones right here, the A and the B stone, are not counted together, but these A and B stones are counted together. So the difference is you don't play them diagonal, you would play them together to be connected. So that is how stones are connected and go. So back to my original point, how do you keep your stones alive and keep them from getting taken? If you're kind of smart, you might be thinking, okay, well if I do this, now white can't capture black, right? Because think about it, if white puts a stone in here, that means the white stone would have no liberties too, right? But then you're thinking, but then wait, the black stones would also have no liberties. So what happens in this case? Well, what happens in a case like that is the person who's playing gets precedence. So if white's going to be playing right now, of course, then the black stones are considered, if white plays here, black will have no liberties and he's taken. And so even though if the white stone plays there, technically it would have no liberties, white gets precedence, right? The black and the white stones have no liberties, but because white's playing, it dies. So you're wondering, well, gee, if that doesn't even work, then how in the world are you going to live? That doesn't help me at all, right? Well, think about it like this. Now, if there's 2 places, even if white completely surrounds black, takes away all outside liberties, so black only has these 2 liberties, right? You're thinking, well, we can do the same thing as before. It'd be really simple. Can't we just play in here and here? Well, remember, you alternate. Black plays, then white plays, then black plays, then white plays. So if white tries to play in here, his stone has no liberties, so he gets precedence, right? White plays in there. How many liberties does black play have? He has 1. Okay, now then the precedence is over, and then it's like, okay, how many liberties does that white stone have? None. It'd be like self capture if white played in there, because when there's 2 separate spaces where white cannot play in there, it is alive, and those are called eyes. So right now this black group has 2 eyes and it is alive. To be alive and go, you need to have 2 or more eyes, and eyes are basically spaces like these, which if white plays in, his stone would be automatically captured. If you only have 1 eye, as we saw here, you can be captured. So 2 eyes is alive, 3 eyes is alive, 1 eye not alive. Now let me just clear up some future confusion for you. Let's put up another situation. Say we have this here. You must be thinking, great, this is definitely alive, right? There's 3 eyes here. No, it is not alive. The reasoning for that is, in a previous example, this one, you notice how there is 2 separate eyes, where if white plays in, he is automatically captured. Well, remember, that's not the case here. If white plays here, he is not automatically captured, correct? So white can play here. Now black. If black wants to capture this stone, he tries to play here. 1 liberty, dead. Plays here, 1 liberty, dead. Black doesn't play at all. White can play here. Black doesn't play at all. White can play there. So basically, even if black plays here, well, even if the black does capture these 2, you can see it's only 1 eye, right? Because if white plays there, so as you notice, this 3 space here is, depending on who plays, it's alive or dead, right? If black plays here, 2 eyes. If he passes and white plays, if you play somewhere else, then white plays there, and this is dead. As you saw, no matter what black does, this dies. So this is 1 eye, right? And the way you can kind of look at it and tell if this is going to be dead is because there's no way for black to get both A and B separately, right? Because white's played in the middle. And he can't do anything to get 2 eyes here, so you can tell if this is dead without playing anything. It takes a little bit of thinking at first, but you'll get really used to it. In the future, experienced players, they can look at something like, this, and you can just kind of tell that this black here is not gonna die. Because sure, I mean, as white, you're playing, you can feel free to come in here. It's just, no matter what white does, there's going to be 2 separate eyes, right? Because you can see black's going to get an eye somewhere around here and somewhere around there. So there's nothing white can do. I mean, white can play here. Black just plays somewhere like this. He doesn't even really have to play inside because he's obviously getting at least 3 eyes or 2 eyes, right? So in Go, 2 eyes is alive, 1 eye is dead. But sometimes, with experience, you'll be able to tell, like I said, this is dead and this is alive without even playing it out. And so that's where, Go was kind of confusing because at first you're so like, okay, what are eyes? What are liberties? All these kind of things. Just get the basic handle that each stone, has 4 places around it. Simple enough. When you play next to it, they're connected. And the liberties add up. Diagonals don't count. And then if you know what eyes are, you're pretty much good to go and you can start playing. Now, there are a lot of tricks and a lot of things that go into Go that I'm not really going to introduce right now because it's just an introductory video and rules video. So these are the basic rules of what you need to know on how to play Go. I'm also going to talk about something else called a ko. Let me just set up a ko here. What would I do to set up a good ko? Okay. Okay, so here, let me just add that for fun. Okay, so here you might think, great, white has 2 eyes, black plays there, he dies. If black plays there, he's dead, right? And you might be thinking, okay, he has 2 eyes, nothing you can do. Well, what about if you played A? You just kind of look at me like, wait, that stone is 1 liberty, I can just capture that. And you're like, wait, why did the square just show up on the screen? This is what we call a ko, you see, because black stone has 1 liberty when black plays inside, white takes it. But now if you notice, this white stone also has that same 1 liberty. So can't black just come back in there and take it again, and this is an endless cycle of, black take, white take, black take, white take, the game goes nowhere. Well, to prevent that, what I just said in a never-ending game, they have the ko rule, which is when, a white stone takes a black stone, the board cannot repeat itself. So black stone cannot take this white stone back until he has played somewhere else. So if black plays somewhere else and white plays somewhere else, black can come back and take this stone. Notice, white can now not take that stone. He has to play somewhere else. Black has to play somewhere else. Then he can take the stone again. So he has to wait till the next turn. And what this means is that even if you're in the situation where white has 2 eyes, black can play at A, white captures. Now if black plays somewhere else, somewhere that white needs to respawn on the board, he might die somewhere else, white responds, then black plays again, and white can't take that stone now, and now this group that had 2 eyes, quote unquote, might die. So the ko rule is basically to prevent a never-ending game. When you take a stone, you have to play somewhere else before they can retake it, so that it doesn't go into a never-ending cycle. And I might have said Atari a few times and you had no idea what I was talking about. A lot of us Go players, we tend to use the Japanese terms for the word because that's how we were taught the game. So this black stone here, when it's liberties, it's 4 liberties. When it loses 3 of them, it is considered an Atari. So this black stone here at A is in Atari. It is surrounded on every other place, and if black doesn't play there, it will die. Or get captured. Is that necessarily a bad thing? No. A lot of times you can go you sacrifice stones on purpose. You'll let some stones die for a strategic purpose, right? But it's just called Atari. So this is Atari. Liberties is the outside surrounding a stone. So, this stone has 4 liberties. Connection, all eyes. Now you know all the basic words and you know how to play your first games. Now, I'm gonna help you avoid a few traps, and maybe you'll be able to use these in your own game of Go. So, right here, we run into this problem as white. Our A stone here looks like, wow, it only has 1 liberty. Maybe I want to save that. Okay, I run out. Black plays Atari again. Oh, I have 1 liberty. Oh, I have 1 liberty. And this keeps going on and on across the board. White trying to escape desperately, black just following. And this is called a ladder. White cannot escape this unless he has a, oops, I just messed up. Unless there's a stone on the other side of the, I just messed up again, board, because black can just, you see how he can continually Atari white, and white just tries to escape because he only has 1 liberty. Well, what eventually happens is he only has 1 liberty, and all those stones will die. So this is a common beginner mistake, as white they fall into, like real beginners, and it's a little trick you can use. Now you might say, well, I've seen people talking about ladder breakers. What are those? Ladder breakers are when white has a stone, say, around here on the board, or black. So say white has a stone around here on the board, then he can run this out. Black thinking, hey, I know what a ladder is. This white stone is going to be dead. It's in a ladder. Oh look, white has 1 liberty. Black goes to play the normal Atari. Wow, white has more liberties now. Now white has enough liberties to live. Because white had the A stone before the ladder started, and he realized that the A stone was in the path of the ladder, black's ladder fails. And if black continues trying to capture, white can play here. Now black stones both have 1 liberty. So if black tries to save 1, he can take the other. And that happens for all of these things. White can capture 1 of each of these stones, basically. Because every time he plays in these sections, it's a double Atari. Like, he captured 1 stone, that was an Atari. That's an Atari. That's an Atari. You see, he can just keep capturing all of these stones. So this is a ladder. This was a ladder up here, where, black will win unless white has a stone in the way. And then if white does have a stone in the way, like we see here, this is a ladder breaker, with 1 being the ladder breaker, of course. So there's one other trap that's really famous and that's, useful in your games is, hold on. Okay, this white, wait 1 second, let me think about this. This white stone, let's add some white around here. So you can see here, if black just tries to capture it in a normal ladder, what's going to happen? We just learned about ladder breakers, right? This isn't going to work. So you're thinking, wow, this white stone really can't be captured, right? Because this ladder just isn't working. Like, yeah, it doesn't work. This stone back here, wait, what's going on? Where can I go? Okay. This white stone here must not be able to be captured, right? I mean, this ladder also has the same effect. It just heads towards these ladder breaker stones, and it's just not going to go anywhere. I mean, no. Messed up. So you can see the ladders don't work. So this stone, you might get the idea, well, I can't capture, the A stone. What am I going to do? There's this thing called a net. Okay, the stone has 2 liberties, and the ladders don't work. But if black plays this is called the net. This stone cannot live. It has 2 liberties. It is dead. If it tries to run this way, it has 1 liberty. Dead. But tries to run this way, 1 liberty, dead. So that is the net. The net works when you have stones surrounding, like 1 and 2 here, and then you can play on the 3-point and surround the stone. Now, nets aren't always just that shape. There are other kinds of nets that you'll see in your games. But those are some general tips and tricks. There, the ladders, the nets. You need to know eyes are, liberties. These are the basics that can get you into your go game. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video. In the future videos, I might talk about more about the rule sets, the times, the clocks. I'm going to do, of course, more on specific strategy. Like, I'm going to throw these words at you right now and tell you what they mean in other videos. Moyo, territory, all these kinds of things. Actually, that reminds me. I do want to go over one more thing in this video. So now you're wondering, how do you calculate the score at the end of the game? That's right. Let's talk about that. I almost forgot. So right now, if we go back and we go and say this was the game. Black. This would be highly unlikely. Just putting that out there so that you don't get confused in your games why they don't end up looking like this. But let's say that this is your game, and so we know that if white plays up here, there's no real room to get 2 eyes. Like, as long as white plays and black responds, it's impossible for white to live up here. And the same is true for here. It may not look like it, but it's impossible for black to live inside here. So now, this is how you would score. Each individual point here is territory, white's territory. Black cannot live in here, so every single one of these spaces is white's territory, all the way around this entire box. And at the top, the same is true for black. So all the territory that you have surrounded at the end of the game, that you and your opponent agree on. Okay, I can't invade here. White says I can't invade at the top, and black says I cannot invade at the bottom, or else I would die. Then you would count the score. And on a Go server, it just automatically does this. And white obviously destroyed black with this larger area. He has 200 some more points. And now you're wondering, wait, it says 0.5. How did he get half a point of territory? That goes back to what I said earlier. The rules. The Comey is, black went first. So then white gets 6.5 points added to his score at the end of the game. So white has 241 points, right? Right now, that's what the server is telling you. Well, he actually has 6.5 points less than that. So if you take off 1.5, that's 240. He has 5 points. He actually has 235 points surrounded in here. So he has 235 spaces, and then he has 6.5 Comey. Black has 52 spaces surrounded in here. This is also where your capture would come in. So let's say that black did play here, and white did spend the moves to go around and capture. Now this black stone is captured, and at the end of the game, when we do the scoring tool, the score will be different. It's actually less for white. But that's because white played 3 moves inside of his own territory, and that blackstone captured only gave him 1 extra point. So white lost 3 points, of course, because he spent 3 moves capturing. Now, you might just use what I just said and try to come up with some weird logic, right? Like, you can just play inside enemy's territory at the end of the game, and it'll get you more points. It's not like that. If black just plays here, white doesn't have to respond. He does not have to kill that stone. As long as that stone cannot live, he doesn't have to play there at all. Black can just come around here and try to make eyes, but as long as he doesn't, white is fine. And playing inside of the opponent's territory like this, if we then score the game and count them as dead, which they are, then you can see that white gained points. So basically, in Go, you can see that if you try to invade an enemy's area and you die, you lose points, because not only is white getting, the 1 point from capturing this black stone, he's also getting the territory under that. So he's getting, the 241.5 points he had before, remember? But then black wasted 4 moves inside, and so white gets 4 more prisoners. So he got 246. I think I must have gave white 1 more territory somewhere. But basically, whenever you play inside an enemy's area and they capture the stone, they get 1 point for the capture and 1 point for the territory underneath. So you're giving them a free point if you try to invade and die. The only time that's not true is if black plays in here and then white plays in here. You can see if we score it, it is 242, which if he didn't invade, it was still 242.5, right? There's no difference in the score if you invade and they respond. So I just wanted to tell you that's how you score, that's how liberties work, that's how you get eyes, that's what ladders are, ladder breakers and nets. Like I said, you can try playing Go in real life, you can look for Go clubs and stuff like that in your area. You can try Go servers like KGS, IGS, Tigem, baduk. I recommend gokgs.com if you are an English speaker, because there are a lot of English speakers and teachers on the server. If you are Korean or Chinese, you would probably be playing on baduk or Tigem. That's about it for today's video. I will be making future videos, so stay tuned to my channel and other things. If you have any requests, please comment or feel free to inbox me on YouTube. And good luck with your matches. If you like anime, I also do suggest watching the Hikaru no Go series. And one more little tip. For those of you, you're probably watching this video and you're all excited about getting really strong, and you're like, okay, I want to watch another video, I want to go out there and learn all these things. You got to understand you can't learn Go from just watching videos like this. Videos like this are great for an introduction. Maybe when you know something about the game, they can expand your knowledge. But once you know the basic rules of the game, you got to play your own games to, get some experience. You're not going to be able to watch a professional lecture and understand it if you've never even played the game, but you keep watching a bunch of videos, So my main advice is just to keep playing games. So if this is your first time ever hearing about Go, or you haven't played that many games and you're watching this video, go play some games, enjoy it. I do not recommend playing robots or bots. I know a lot of people like that. I think it teaches you bad habits, but I think playing on 19 by 19, 9 by 9, or 13 by 13 size boards, they're all fine. You just need to go play some games, and it doesn't matter against what level opponents. So anyway, like I said, any questions or comments, inbox me.